Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking out this video. Hope you are having a fantastic day. This was in the press conference after the Seattle Storm game. A reporter asked what was the best advice that a vet had given Caitlin Clark in a game this season. And this was her response to that question.
Us too.
And what's the best advice that Bet has given you in game this season?
Nobody gives me advice in game. I wish.
Nobody gives her advice in games. So to that point, because I think this has been an interesting dynamic, I guess, in the whole conversation surrounding the WNBA and Caitlin Clark in terms of how the league, the players have treated her. And of course, Caitlin Clark fans have not been all that impressed. And then the excuses that will come from those who will say, oh, I don't want to say haters or anti, but just not Caitlin Clark fans will completely twist it into, oh, you just want the vets to not even try and let them allow Caitlin Clark to be this dominant player because she's not really that good. And then even to this, I saw some people who tried to start spinning it about how Aaliyah Boston gives her advice or Erica Wheeler gives her advice when setting aside that Aaliyah Boston's in her second year and a month older than Caitlin Clark, those are her teammates. Any reasonable person knows that the question is in the context of the rest of the WNBA. What are the types of conversations Caitlin Clark has with those vets during games or after games? And so, to that point, I wanted to explore that a little further above and beyond the one side saying the players are terrible toward her, and the other side moving the goalposts and saying they're competitive athletes. They're not just going to let her win, which is 100%. They should absolutely shouldn't do that. But here is Wemby of the Spurs, a few different clips with him that we'll check out in terms of the just the different vibe. This is Kevin Durant, I believe. Yeah, Kevin Durant after, right? And they're having a conversation and wishing him well and all that good stuff. Probably some advice. These guys are exchanging jerseys. There's LeBron James, big hug. So I know you say, oh, well, that's a little clip of players that. Do you see that happening with Caitlin Clark? And to that point, I'll tell you because these are big names everybody knows. How about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, two of the most competitive athletes, forget basketball, two of the most competitive athletes, period, in anything. And I don't know, there was one story, first time Jordan played Kobe in the NBA, Kobe was 18 years old and was asking Jordan for advice on his jump shot. And then it got to the point where they had this role where Kobe was texting Michael Jordan all the time, like all hours of the day. In fact, this is in Jordan's speech. I believe it was at Kobe's funeral. He would talk about this how Kobe was texting him at all weird hours, like 2 in the morning, asking about post play moves and the triangle offense and all this different stuff, which is really kind of fascinating to see. So you have to understand these are the best basketball players in the world. This is a really, really small fraternity or sorority, however you want to look at it. And you've got players that don't like each other and you've got rivalries, but you also have this group of the best that want to grow the game, that want to see the next generation of stars be successful, and they pass down advice. I think you get that great example, a- and I know this is more of a same team thing, but it's about playing time too here. And this is you get veteran quarterbacks who talk about that, or maybe they started most of their career and now they're a backup to some young draft pick, and they talk about how they want to help them in the film study room and what their habits are and their practice and all that, and help them grow as a player and move forward and be successful. And you don't see any of that with Caitlin Clark. None of these players, none of these vets have embraced her and helped her and said, "Hey, you know what? If you're having a problem, if you have a question, if you want advice, text me. Here's my number." And to that point, I will go through both of these because this was recent with Juju Watkins at USC, and there was a time, was it earlier in the season? I guess when they were playing the Sparks, and Caitlin Clark was there and stopped by at USC, and she talked to the coach who had said Caitlin put. I think she talked to Juju. No, maybe she talked to the coach. I'm sorry. She talked about the attention that she got for a year and a half or 2 years, and how Juju's going to get that for the next three, and that she gave the USC coach her number if she had any questions and things like that. And so Caitlin Clark already willing to pass on advice and help a young player who may quickly erase a lot of Caitlin Clark's records that were just set. That's what everyone is talking about. Is that attitude of mentoring those that come behind you. And I'm going to give you one more little clip. This is because I think Juju handled this well. This was obviously a game last year. This reporter really irked me with the way she asked this, but and then I want to share one other quick thing.
In the country playing Division I basketball, nobody scored more points in one game this year than you. That's the most.
That's crazy. Yeah. More to come for sure.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, who?
No, don't do that.
Okay,
Don't do that. Okay. Don't do that. Much respect there.
Now that see that oh like I'm sorry, I just wanted to metaphorically throttle that reporter. Like, why do you even have to go there? I mean, I believe this had to be last year, right? So you're still talking about Caitlin Clark being in college. You can't just congratulate Juju on the most points in a game this season. Instead, you have to be like dissing Caitlin Clark. It's really odd. And to that point, one thing, because this really annoys me. I hate getting into this stuff, but right under here with some, of course, he's white. Though sadly, Clark's clan, I mean fans, aren't likely to recognize Juju Watkins' brilliance. They'll cling to their mediocre white hope. Right? This is where we had to get to. Going after Caitlin's not working because she's just so amazing in the way she answers questions and handles herself. So now we're going to politically and culturally define her entire fan base in a way that we hope will turn people against Caitlin Clark and turn Caitlin Clark against her fans. Let me tell you something, as one of her fans, I loved watching Juju. I didn't see her all season long. I got to see her in the tournament, and she's exciting. Really, she's the only exciting player I've seen on the women's side outside of Caitlin Clark. And that is the hope. WNBA, I know, doesn't care, but basketball fans and basketball fans who actually want to see women's basketball do well, that is their hope. That is the change you want to see, is that now with Caitlin Clark achieving what she's achieving and women watching that happen, that they practice and they start playing in a way that's different and it's exciting and it's fun, and you're seeing that from Juju. And I hate to break it to you, but there probably isn't a single Caitlin Clark fan that doesn't like watching Juju Watkins play, but you gotta go there because you have this irrational hatred of a 22-year-old woman who just wants to play some basketball. So can we please knock that stuff off? And I'll go both directions. I will say this first: the people viewing these videos that say thank you so much because I really do appreciate it. And 99% of the comments are awesome, even ones that disagree with me, because that's cool. I'm giving an opinion. When I compare players, I try and base it in numbers. But in sports, it all ultimately becomes an opinion. I'm probably wrong as often as I'm right. And you want to respectfully say, hey, I don't think this is the case because this, and this. That's cool. And if I see it and I have the time, I'll explain why I think I'm right or that you have a point. But can we knock off the nonsense? Oh my lord, in both directions. We just don't need to go there. We really don't. Um, I mean, I'll tell you what, it's amusing. It's amusing to read at times, I will say. But this stuff like this, not necessary. But anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on this whole idea of mentorship and how she's being treated because it gets twisted as if Caitlin Clark fans think, oh, we just want her to be able to score every time she has the ball, and why are they playing defense? It's not like that at all. I think it's not like that at all. It's definitely not like that in the NBA. You could see the difference. You could hear it in the Kobe Michael relationship and so on. But I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments below about this whole idea of advice from older players who have been in the league and passing down their knowledge to the next generation of young upcoming stars. Smash the like button if you're enjoying this. Subscribe to the channel. Really awesome. Oh, one thing I gotta point this out. You can click off now if you don't want to hear it, but there were like some crazy comments in the last video because I even pointed out how often I was going through that clip because I was showing different things and I got a lot of people who took that and ran with it and hated on it. And the funny thing is, I looked at the numbers, which I don't usually pay attention to, but because I saw that comment so often, is like that video was actually crushing my typical video on like the amount of time people watch and so forth. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for checking this out, and I will talk to you later.